You have written the same list before. Read more, wake up earlier, exercise, build something, be better. And at some point during the year, quietly, without any ceremony, you stopped. Not because the goals were wrong, not because you were lazy, but because you were trying to change what you do without ever touching what you are. And that is the only mistake that actually matters. There is a distinction that almost every self-help book misses entirely. A distinction so fundamental that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The difference between a person who is trying to read more and a person who is a reader. Those are not the same person performing different levels of effort. Those are two different identities operating from two completely different foundations. Aristotle saw this more than 2,000 years ago, and the fact that we are still ignoring it says something uncomfortable about us. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Notice what he did not say. He did not say excellence is a goal you set. He said it is what you repeatedly do. Repetition, embodiment, identity, not intention. Here is what is actually happening when your goals collapse. When you set a goal, you are working from the outside in. You define an outcome. You try to force behavior toward it. But behavior is downstream of identity, and identity lives much, much deeper than any goal you write in a notebook. William James, the father of American psychology, writing in 1890, described this with a precision that modern science has only recently caught up to. The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. The inner attitudes of their minds, not their plans, not their schedules, not their accountability partners, their identity. James understood that the brain is not a goal execution machine. It is an identity protection machine. Every decision you make, every morning you skip the gym, every book you close after 2 pages, is the brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, acting consistently with who it believes you are. So when you set a goal but your identity has not shifted, the brain will quietly, persistently, brilliantly undermine it. Not out of weakness, out of loyalty. Loyalty to the self you have not yet changed. If this is landing differently than what you usually hear, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly this kind of conversation. Hit the button now before the algorithm buries this. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Albert Camus, the French philosopher and Nobel laureate, spent his life wrestling with a single question. How do you build meaning in a world that does not hand it to you? His answer was not to find yourself. It was to create yourself. Life is the sum of all your choices, not the sum of your intentions, not the sum of your goals, the sum of your choices. Every time you choose to act like the person you want to become, even once, even imperfectly, you are casting a vote. And identity is built through the accumulation of votes, not through declarations, through decisions. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood this from the harshest possible starting point. He was born a slave. He had no money, no status, no freedom of movement, and yet he became one of the most influential thinkers in human history. Not because his circumstances changed, but because his identity did. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus once said, first say to yourself what you would be, not what you want to achieve, not what you want to have, what you would be. That is identity, and it precedes everything else. Modern behavioral science has now confirmed what these thinkers intuited. Research on identity-based habit formation, most recently popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits, shows that people who define their desired behavior as part of who they are, rather than what they want to do, sustain that behavior at dramatically higher rates. The person who says, I am trying to quit smoking, fails far more often than the person who says, I am not a smoker. Same action, different identity, completely different result. So how do you actually do this? Here are 3 concrete shifts, not tips, but structural changes to how you operate. Shift 1. Rewrite your language. Stop saying, I want to exercise more. Say, I am someone who moves their body every day. Stop saying, I am trying to read. Say, I am a reader. This is not positive thinking. This is identity priming, and the brain responds to it differently. When behavior becomes part of who you are, skipping it creates cognitive dissonance. That dissonance is uncomfortable enough to keep you going on the days motivation is gone. Shift 2. Vote, do not streak. The most dangerous idea in self-improvement is the streak, because the moment you break it, you feel like a failure. And failure is an identity signal the brain takes very seriously. Instead, think in votes. Every time you act in alignment with your chosen identity, you cast a vote for that person. Miss a day? Fine. You cast 0 votes today. Come back tomorrow and cast 1. Identity is not built in streaks. It is built in returns. Shift 3. Write your identity statement and make it uncomfortable. Every morning before anything else, write 3 sentences beginning with, I am someone who. Make them specific. Make them present tense. And crucially, make them slightly uncomfortable. Comfort means you already believe it. Slight discomfort means you are stretching into the person you are becoming. That stretch, practiced daily, is how identity actually changes. Aristotle did not say, imagine what you want to become. He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Epictetus did not say, plan carefully for who you want to be. He said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Camus did not say, find your meaning. He said, build it, choice by choice, day by day. Your goals have been failing you because they were never the problem. The problem was that behind every goal, there was still the same person who had always failed to keep it. Change the person. The goals follow. And now, I want to ask you something. Not a rhetorical question, a real one. Who would you be if you stopped trying to become someone and simply started being them, right now, in this imperfect moment? Write that in the comments. 1 sentence. I want to read it. If this changed something in how you see yourself, subscribe. Next week, we go even deeper into the psychology of who you are becoming, and I promise you, you will not want to miss what is coming.